Today we're going to be talking about HTML lists and tables. HTML lists and tables are elements that you can use to organize data on your pages. Tables allow you to arrange information however you choose, normally in a two-dimensional grid with rows and columns, and then lists allow you to specify items in a series. And there are different types of lists. There's ordered lists and unordered lists. Depending upon whether the items that you're listing are ordered, you use an ordered list. If they're unordered, you'd use an unordered list. So for example, if you were making a list of the steps to create a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then the order is important. So you would use an ordered list. But if you were going to the store to pick up peanut butter, bread, and jelly, that would just be an unordered list because the order is not important. Let's talk about each of these one by one. Tables consist of rows and columns. You can think of this as a two-dimensional grid. There are also optional components that you can use to trick out your tables to do and present even more information. I have a graphic right here. It's a little hard to follow, but by the time we're done talking today, it'll make more sense to you. You'll notice that I have a table element which contains something called a T-head and a T-body. T-head is short for table head and T-body is short for table body. Inside the head, you'll see that there's a TR, which stands for table row, and then three THs within it, which are called table headers or table headings. In the body, you'll see I have 4 TRs or table rows, each with 3 TDs, which are called table data. So these are the data cells. When we work through some examples, it'll make more sense, but you can always refer back to this part of the video to get a better understanding of what a table is. Lists, however, are collections of items. You'll notice here in my graphic I have two different types of lists. I have ordered lists and I have unordered lists. Notice how each list has 5 LIs or list items. Once again, you've got an element, this OL element, that contains additional elements itself. Same thing over here. This UL or unordered list contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 list items. So if you are using an ordered list, you'll normally see something like a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Roman numerals. If you're using an unordered list, you'll simply see some sort of bullet. Okay. Let's look a little bit deeper at how we have to construct these lists and tables. The first element I want to teach you about is the ordered list. You will notice that I have an ordered list here. I have an opening OL and a closing OL tag. Within this OL element, you will see that I have 1, 2, 3 LI elements or list items. So when creating an ordered list, you wrap the OL start and end tag around a series of LI elements. What about unordered lists? Very similar. The same way that you would create an ordered list, you create an unordered list, but you use the UL element. So in this case, you'll notice that I have an unordered list that contains 3 LI or list item elements. You'll notice that the UL creates just plain old bullets. Remember, list items must go within unordered or ordered lists. That's where they go. So this is commonly referred to as nesting elements, when an element has other elements within it. LIs, pretty simple. Anything you want to put inside a list, you will place inside a LI. So here I have a shopping list, milk, eggs, toilet paper. You'll notice that inside the unordered list, I've created 3 list items. Each one has a start and end tag, and the text I want marked up goes in between. Tables are a little bit more complex, but follow the same methodology. I have a table element. Notice how the table element owns everything else. You know that because it's inside the start and end tag, but you also get a clue because of the indentation. This indentation is extremely important and extremely common. Anytime an element is being nested within another element, we indent just to make it very clear that this element is within this element is within this element. So when creating a table, you want to construct series of rows and columns. But before you can create the rows and columns, you need to start with the table element. What comes next? The T-head. Now the T head is actually optional, but I recommend that you use it. T head stands for table heading group, which means any of your table heading information needs to be placed within that element. In this particular case, I have a T head that has a row where I have my column headings, team and win-loss. Then the T body is meant to contain the data. You can think about it the same way you think of a web page. Notice how a web page has a head and a body? Well, the same thing for a table. A table has a table head and a table body. What goes within the table body? Well, rows that contain data. So in this case, that would be the Cubs and their win-loss record, as well as the Cardinals and their win-loss record. So TRs are used throughout, both in the body and the head. That stands for table rows. You can think of a row as something that goes left to right and then has a line break at the end. So this is a row where it says team win-loss. Cubs 59-39, that's a row. Cardinals 52-46, that's a row. Within the table heading group, you'll see that we have a special type of element called the TH. The TH is the table header cell. Notice how team and win-loss in the T head are bolded. Well, these are meant to be like column headings, and that's what a TH essentially is. TDs stand for table cells or table data. So a TD is a single cell of data. For example, Cubs right here is a single cell of data. 59-39 is a single cell of data, so forth and so on. You put table data or these table cells within rows in the body. I've included the link to the Mozilla Developer Network, specifically to the HTML element reference. Look up each HTML element that we just talked about so that you can see how it's used. And last but not least, remember, we need to practice these skills. I expose you to the HTML elements, but the only way you're really going to learn them is by practicing them. So here I have another Mozilla Thimble challenge for you. All you have to do is click on the tablet and work through the tutorial. You're going to be making HTML lists and tables for yourself, and then you're going to submit that to prove to me that you know how to use them. If you have any questions whatsoever, just contact me and we'll take care of it.